All right, so today we ended with $168 positive, and I'm not really happy with how I traded. I'll get into why, but I want to explain why SMTs are very important. And if you know how to use them on all time frames, it will level up your trading. So real quick, going on to the 15 minute, we had taken this low pre-market, creating an SMT, which means price doesn't need to come down here and sweep out the lows on NQ. We then break structure. So we have an SMT, we break structure to the upside and create a big imbalance. 15 minute here, which is a 1 hour as well. And then we trade into it when market starts. So this is kind of the bigger picture. Then I'm going to switch to the NQ to show you how you could look to trade after knowing this. So again, 15-minute chart, we sweep the low, we create an SMT divergence, which just means one takes the low or high and the other doesn't. We get a massive reaction, break structure to the upside, create a big imbalance, and we retrace and fill the imbalance. We also, on this news leg, even more confluence, we retrace to equilibrium, which is an optimal place to go long. We have data highs above, which is what the market's reaching for. So there's a lot of long confluences. The only short bias I had, and the reason why I was really kind of hesitant, was because we had equal lows, almost perfectly equal lows. But with the S&T, they don't need to come get taken. I just don't like leaving equal lows. I wasn't able to take this first trade because I was at a doctor's appointment, so I was kind of frustrated, and the rest of my trades were a little bit forced. So going into the daily bias, so that's how you use daily bias with SMTs. I see on the higher time frame, okay, we break structure. We don't need to do anything else here. We don't need to go lower. Our target for the day would be this high that we put in pre-market when we come down here, and then an external target is up here, but that's just crazy because that was about 200 points away, but the market's probably going to go grab it. Anyways, going into NQ, if we go on, I've marked up the chart already, but let's bar replay this thing back to 9:30 open. So 9:30 open, we actually just sell off a little bit. We kind of just do its thing, a little bit choppy. First sign to look for longs. Again, I wasn't here, so I couldn't take it, but we have all these equal highs. 1, 2, 3, 4 equal highs. We just place lower, we hold this fair value gap, and we move lower. So okay, what are we doing? Like we said, we already are bullish, but after this big move up, we want to retrace to equilibrium, which price gets to, because after a news candle and a relatively 200 point move, you're going to expect a retracement. So what do we get? We get a 100 point move back down. Once we're in equilibrium, you can start looking for longs because we're in a higher time frame fair value gap. I'll just mark this on the 2 minute, but just know there's a 1 hour, there's a 15 minute, there was all kinds of fair value gaps. And you know what? I'll just go to the 15 minute to mark up a better one. Here. There we go. 15 minute fair value gap. So we have a 15-minute bullish fair value gap that I really would have liked, again, if I was here, because what do we get setting up? We're in a 15-minute fair value gap. We're in discount of the entire range. We're bullish because of the S&T, and now we have a 2-minute bearish fair value gap. We can look to inverse this, and as soon as this gets broken, you can expect price to reverse. So it gets broken. Let's give the benefit of the doubt and say you waited for this one on the 2 minute. The fair value gap breaks. You can jump in a long. Your stop could be 39 points. If you want to put it here, that's fine. So 33 points. Not the greatest, but you're still getting about almost a 2R. And you have these equal highs, and you can also target even higher, which gets you obviously a better RR. This setup, although it's clean, it did take a while to play out, kind of stalled. We do, if you don't trade off inverse fair value gaps, we do pull into this 1 minute fair value gap, which this thing holds, 1 minute bullish. The fair value gap holds and we displace higher. This is the second entry in the fair value gap. We displace again and we don't get there right away. We get higher, put in another high, come down, put in another equal high here, relative equal high, making the draw even more clear. And then what do we get here? We get another entry. If you missed the other setup, you get an entry here. When this inverses, you could jump in along here, and you could capture more of a scalp. You'd have your stop loss there. You'd target here and here. So now that's if you wanted the pyramid in, if you're really getting good with it. It holds. First TP, you'd probably get stopped out for break even if you're in on this trade. But then this trade, first TP gets hit, and then we stall, and then we take out full take profits. So that's the first trade right there, which was just a 2-minute inversion and a 1 minute. Inside of 15 minute, inside of 1 hour bullish fair value gap, because we retraced to equilibrium. I know there's a lot on my chart here, so it's kind of gross. We retrace to equilibrium. We have a bullish SMT on the higher time frame. We break structure to the upside. Big displacement. Retrace to discount. Inverse of fair value gap. Hold a smaller bullish fair value gap. We break equal highs above. Pure targets. And like price is doing, we have a lot more targets to the upside. Data highs. So that was the first trade that I didn't get in because I came back to the market and I was right here at 11:14 kind of. So it was a little bit late. I couldn't get in here. It is what it is. I'm not upset about that, but I think it did affect my trading going forwards. So I have a lot going on here that should not have been going on. I was just looking for opportunity that wasn't there. Going forwards, we displace higher. We have an SMT. I'm still determined to see data lows and the equal lows here. I just am getting too blinded by what I want to see and not what the market's telling me. Overall, we're bullish on every sentiment. We're bullish. But where was my next trade? It was when we created an SMT here. On the 1 minute. When we created an SMT here, when we inverse this fair value gap, I jumped in a short. So I jumped in a short here and traded down to here, took some off, didn't take off in here, which was the bottom of a 15-minute fair value gap. Inside of 5 minutes, I should have taken the rest off, got stopped at break even. That wasn't a good trade in my opinion. And then the last trade we took was a long because we were holding this 1 minute fair value gap. We were holding the 5 minute and the 15 minute. We're bullish on the higher time frames. We have this high and this high, and we have higher to go. ES wants higher to go as well. So I waited for these fair value gaps to break, and it puts in this 1 minute bullish. I actually jumped in off this candle here on the bullish fair value gap at around 11, so when it started moving up, because I was anticipating a break to the upside, and price does end up running. I got out of all my contracts here. Hindsight, probably not the greatest, but it also would have came down and stopped me out again. Price has a devastating wick here, which let's see if there's an SMT. Intraday. Let's see if there's an SMT here, because look at this thing run. I hope there is an SMT, because this will be even better for the review, is if there's an SMT here. It doesn't look like it is. Does not look like there is. There was no SMT. This would have been so clean if we had an SMT. But we just dump down, hold this fair value gap, and just rip. So imagine if I got in on this candle, 23 points. Then you got 40. 2 more candles, 60. Now we're up 80 points. But regardless, this long here, inversing this move, isn't the worst. It isn't the worst, really. But if I wanted to be in longs, I needed to be in longs down here, all the way down here, and carry all the way up. But I'm not really too upset, because looking at this day, 20 points on ES. Looking at the day, I'm not too upset because I kind of did exactly what I wanted to see, or the market did exactly what I wanted to see. I just think I was a little bit tricked up tripped up with the equal lows. Again, these relative equal lows, data lows. I was just a little bit tripped up, but the S&T is king. Higher time frames king, tells you what it needs to do. Holds fair value gap, and we're reaching all the way up. I mean, wow. It's hard not to get FOMO when you see the market play like this without you in it. But some of it's hindsight, some of it's just wrong side of the market. But that's how, looking back, I could read the market and have done better. Wish I was here in the morning to see how I would have traded it. In hindsight, yeah, I would have taken the fair value gap play here, the inverse. But would I have really taken it live? Would I held right? Who knows? And yeah, if you got in on that inverse there, you would now be up 200 points, funded past. But it is what it is. There's always opportunity in the market. The last few days have been rough. This range was rough. This range was kind of rough. Today's a nice expansion move. It's a good day trading. This kind of is like an AMD accumulation here. We manipulate lower, inverse, break a structure, fair value gap. It's just clean. We're gonna probably target these highs. And it is what it is. I didn't capitalize today. Good. But we came out positive. And we learned a lot from the market, and it's just reinforcing the stuff I know, and it just proving again and again that this is how the market moves. This is what I need to look at. This is how I need to get better. And just trust more, emotion trade less, force profits less. I shouldn't have been trading up in here, for definitely not shorts, but the longs, I'm longing too high up, right? We already moved from the news. We already moved to here. We moved 234 points. Regardless, we already rebalanced price to here. So let's just even say from this move. This move, we longing from 163 points. The long would have played out perfectly if you just longed this for value gap and waited, but I shouldn't have been looking for longs until we come down to equilibrium. Maybe sweep below, maybe make an SMT that's more weighted, and then go look for the upside. So this is just a little bit forced, a little bit scalpy, a little bit greedy, and I need to remove that from my trading. But overall, not too disappointed with the day. Wow, I can't believe that's actually going to get there. But we made money. The funded's up to $685. My best ever is 800-ish. So I would love to break 1,000 on this funded eval. But yeah, we learn every day. We get better. And that's kind of how I would use SMTs and market structure to really validate trades. And it's starting to get more and more clear every day for me, which is exciting. But yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow, or if I somehow take a trade, which I don't think I'm taking a trade. I think I'm done. But yeah, overall, not pretty good day, pretty clean price, a little bit slow in the AM. And as soon as we got to 122, it sped up. Oh yeah, that's one thing. I'm going to watch some videos on macros because I kind of want to understand that a lot more. I really want to understand what macros are and like how to use them. I know it's like certain time frames, but I know a lot of people in the Discord I used to be in really loved using macros, and I feel like it would change my trading for the better. But I don't like to just constantly watch new videos and learn new concepts, but I think macros is something I could slowly implement since it's not really strategy, it's more of just a time-based thing. So I think that'll be pretty cool. I'll update how that goes and what I learned with that. But yeah, just another day in the journey. Today doesn't make or break the journey. If I made $1,000 today, it's not going to make me profitable. I have to keep doing the basics, keep getting better, keep learning. And that's what we did. So a great day. Very, very happy with today. Very blessed. Thankful for God to give me the opportunity to see another day and to continue trading and continue learning. Really excited for my journey. It's starting to look a lot more positive these days, because when you're first starting, it's like so frustrating because you just don't know if what you're doing works. And now I can understand the markets better. It's just going to take screen time. It's just going to take confidence and conviction and learn how to handle my emotions. Blah, blah, blah. I'll get into that in other videos. But yeah, great day to get better. So I'll see you guys tomorrow.